Hello everyone, welcome to the Cobra interview. This is Bella Parcell and I'm here with my partner, Alexandra Meadors, and she has a new website. Please tell us a little bit about your website, Alexandra.
Hi everyone, my website is galacticconnection.com, and I was led to build this website, which I've never done before. Back in December, I received some messages from my higher guidance telling me that I had to get this done. So for probably about 2 months, I worked day and night, 14, 16 hours a day, and created a somewhat virtual library on the internet. My goal was to try to unify the spiritual community as well as the ET UFO community. I noticed just going to various parties and seminars and celebrations of some sort, I noticed that there tends to be a gap between those two fields. And so my goal was to try to bring some sort of unity between those two sectors of the population. And in so doing, I worked very, very hard on this, and I was told I had to have it up by April 11th. So,
Okay, and following that, you've really clearly outlined the purpose of the website. What exactly drew you to interview with Cobra?
You know, it's interesting because I am a fanatic in research, and I've had so many people pushing me to do this sort of thing because I have read a lot and listened to a lot, and I'm very, very fascinated by anything to do with galactic anything. Mm-hmm. And one day I was, flipping through web pages, and Cobra was fairly new on the scene at the time. He'd only popped up a few times with blog postings, but he finally had his first interview. And when I heard him and I listened to the interview, something inside me clicked. It was one of those moments where I knew in my heart, no matter what discrepancies there are, no matter what critiques there are out there, I knew that he was the real deal. So I just very anxiously wanted to interview him and ask him some questions regarding a lot of the information that I've reviewed.
Mm-hmm. And were there any extra little hints here?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it was quite funny. A group of us went to the park on Friday, and we were told we had to do this because we do a lot of energy work for the planet. And while we were leaving our meditation and meeting, I looked down on the ground and saw this writing on the ground in the park in the middle of the grass. And I'm thinking, what is that all about? And I leaned down, and what did I pick up but a bottle cap that said Cobra?
That was a great sign.
It was such a confirmation, and to be quite honest with you, I have never in my life heard of Cobra anything. I didn't know there was a drink named Cobra. I had to ask Cobra, have you ever heard of this? And was told, oh, yes. So apparently there's some sort of malt liquor or something called Cobra.
Well, thank you so much for speaking with me, and I really look forward to hearing the interview now that you have with Cobra. Thanks, Alexandra.
Thank you so much. Bye, Bella.
Okay, I would say the most important factor here is perseverance. You need to if you want to be good at something, you need to exercise. There are quite few techniques that can open up your higher chakras. But the key element here is if you do them regularly, if you do them with dedication, you will get results. Not in 1 week, not in 1 month, but if you do it regularly for quite some time, you will definitely get results.
I totally agree with that. I've experienced it myself, and it does take definitely some training on your part and consistency.
Exactly.
So, not to hop around, but I was wondering, it looks to me as if in the last month or so, we have been blessed with very clear, blue, beautiful skies here in Southern California, and I've heard elsewhere throughout the United States. Are the chemtrails officially done? I mean, are they shut down?
They're not completely shut down, but there is much less of them. And this is one example of the progress of the light forces.
That, I tell you, I feel such a difference. I mean, I can't even begin to explain how free it feels just to not have that pal hanging over you all day.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So, now, as far as, this has been something that's been bantered back and forth on the internet a lot. When the ships actually land, when the galactic forces actually come to planet Earth, is it true that some of the people will not be able to see them because their vibrational rate will not be high enough?
That's not true. Actually, when the time comes for the galactic fleet to land, they will land on the physical plane so that everybody will be able to see them. And before that happens, there will be quite much of a preparation, quite much of evidence presented to humanity, so this process will not be shocking to most beings.
Okay. Okay. Well, God, that's great news. So are you agreeing that every single person on the planet has not only A, a very good shot of ascending, but B, has the opportunity to ascend? I mean, I heard that, you know, there's like a third that will stay with the planet and ascend, there's a third that will go into another dimensional level, and then there's a third that just kind of stays here because they're not ready.
Okay, I'm not allowed to disclose the whole Ascension plan right now.
Okay.
Because, of course, the cabal is listening, and also the non-physical archons are listening. So the real Ascension plan is highly classified at this moment.
Okay.
And there is no channel on this planet that will receive any information about the timelines, about exactly how it's going to happen, because it has been classified.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. But I can only say that only some beings will be able to ascend, but everybody will be deprogrammed from the cabal, and everybody will be able to be free and make their own choices.
Okay. Now, you're familiar with Drunvalo, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. He mentions that, you know, he talks a great deal about the 3 days of darkness, and that literally once we come out on the other end of that, we're babies starting all over. Could you tell me a little bit about what you think about that?
Well, this is a very old prophecy that is around at least from the 60s, and it's actually, the base of this prophecy is very old, but it actually means the exiting of the event horizon. I will explain. As planet Earth is inside of what you would call a black hole. We are in a distorted reality. And it's hard, if you're inside of this distorted reality, to see things as they really are. And when we exit this black hole, it will be an explosion of light, and everybody will actually start anew. There will be no more karma, there will be no more programming, and everybody will be able to be fully present in their own consciousness and with their own connection with the light. So this is exactly what's going to happen at a certain point.
Wow, that's awesome. Very different perspective, but I can see how, you know, it's basically saying the same thing. Are you familiar with Casavillas?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. Now, he speaks of, you know, the fact that he's a little bit more on the wavelength of, you know, be careful, you're not sure who these ETs are, they're going to be capturing naive souls, and they're going to prevent you from doing your full ascension process. What do you feel about that?
Actually, I have said many times before that all negative ETs have been cleared out. They are not existing anymore. There are no grays flying in UFOs around. There are no reptilians in their motherships. There are no reptilian bases anywhere. This is gone, cleared completely. The only thing that remains is the cabal. They're actually extraterrestrials which have invaded this planet many, many lifetimes ago, and they keep reincarnating in the same positions of power. And apart from that, we have the non-physical archons, which have also invaded from other planets, and are here, like, I would say, ghosts on the etheric and astral planes, and actually maintaining this quarantine. But there are no negative ET forces flying around in their motherships or UFOs. That is gone completely.
That's great to hear. Now, do you also agree with some of the news that's coming out that there are different ET factions per continent on the planet?
In the cabal, yes. You have the Rothschild faction, which is Orion, I would say the Orion forces. You have the Rockefeller faction, which is more the Draconians. And you have the Jesuit faction, which is a mixture of Andromedans and reptilians.
Okay. And they basically headquarter in various parts of the world, is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. And you see the Rothschilds mostly control Europe, and you have the Rockefellers, which mostly control the United States, and you have the Jesuits for the rest of the world.
Okay. In your estimation, how many ships do you think are actually surrounding the planet Earth right now?
There are millions upon millions, but they're close. They're not visible. They have a special protection membrane which prevents the cabal from detecting them.
I see.
But they're everywhere around the planet. Huge motherships.
Okay, and I noticed in your blog you had mentioned not to worry about the severe weather changes that have been occurring, especially, look at the East Coast right now. You were mentioning that we don't have anything to worry about because I guess the galactic forces have been able to subdue the impact on the planet.
Exactly, because this was supposed to get much worse, and there are good forces which are making it so much easier compared to what could have happened on this planet.
Okay. And, as far as the pole shift, which we've read has to take place, are you agreeing that that's also a reflection of the pole shift within our brain circuitry?
Actually, we have there are two aspects of this. The first one is the magnetic pole shift, which is happening. Magnetic pole reversal is happening. And the other one that people are mostly speaking about is the physical axis pole shift. And about the second one, I'm not allowed to give any information at this point, but nothing drastic will happen this year. Okay. That's all I can say.
Thank you for that message. I hope everybody hears that.
Oh, yes.
Now, for those who decide to stay with the planet, they make the conscious choice that they do want to ascend. Wouldn't it be also essential and beneficial, because you've called on the World Meditation Days and that sort of thing, but also wouldn't it be just as simple for each of us to come up with a decree, and we all say this each morning when we get up? For those that kind of hesitate to meditate and they don't think they have the time or they don't think that they can connect or that sort of thing, what do you think about that idea?
Well, I think that the main, right at this moment where we are not yet liberated, I would say the main focus would be to continue with weekly mass meditations, at least once a week. Some people want to do it more, they can do it more, but I would say each Sunday I would like to reach the critical mass, because what is happening is we had three strong meditations in May and June. We had those three portals, and they were very successful. A lot of those non-physical entities have been removed. But after that, this whole movement has some kind of it was not so successful any longer. Not that many people are doing those weekly meditations, and therefore there is not much progress made in clearing of those negative archons from the astral plane.
Interesting.
So I would encourage everybody to join this weekly effort, because we need to continue with this until everything is cleared out. And also, many people don't understand that those meditations support a lot the positive light movement on the physical plane. And they support the whole mass arrest scenario, and they support the whole movement of the positive light forces, because mind is always over matter. And if the critical mass of human beings continue visualizing and manifesting this change will happen sooner. So if everybody is tired of waiting and it doesn't happen, I would encourage everybody to join those weekly meditations, because then it will happen sooner. It will happen in a more, easier way, with less distractions and less violence, less conflict.
Well, and that's the ultimate, because we know it has to change in order to bring about the new. I mean, you can't build off of a corrupt, rotten, to the core system.
Exactly. First, this has to go. We cannot dream about ascension and about mass landing before this is done. This needs to be done first, so we can start creating the new. We cannot do this inside of the old system, inside of the matrix. It's not possible. We have to liberate first.
Wow. Well, and I know we're all doing our best.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So, now, you've probably also heard about Bill Woods, and I was curious what your feeling was on the December 21st time frame, that will be truly a point in time where all timelines collapse and become one. Do you agree with that?
Actually, this is the symbolic turning point of this whole thing. It's a convergence point. I would not say that all timelines converge because you always have free will. You can always create a change. So this free will will stay. This will not be erased. It is simply that the consciousness will be more unified so that those timelines will be more in harmony with the purpose which was ever present. You see, the purpose was always here, but the human beings had their free wills diversified in various ways. So that this is the reason why there were so many different timelines. And actually, I'm involved in a special project of healing those timelines from the past with a certain advanced technology, because if we want to move into the new future, we have to heal the past.
Okay. So again, it's kind of like a karmic thing.
Well, it's not karmic. I would say it's a law of cause and effect. You see, the things that happen on this planet during the history have consequences. So, for example, if there was an invasion of Archons 5,000 years ago, nobody remembers that. But everybody has consequences of this in their own energy field, in their own subconscious memory, in their own behavior patterns, and nobody is even aware why they behave like they do. But when we clear the timelines of those events, people can heal easily, people can make better decisions, people can suddenly find more strength and more power to help with this liberation.
That makes sense. So basically what we're doing is healing the cellular memories.
Exactly.
On a mass consciousness level. Okay. That's way cool. So this is a question that's always just kind of been in the back of my mind. You know of the Ascended Masters, like
yes, of course.
Saint Germain, etc. Yes.
Yes.
Now, how would you describe the difference between them and these very high ETs or galactic beings that are going to be coming forth?
Okay, yes. The Ascended Masters have gone through what you would term Ascension. Ascension means complete liberation, means complete enlightenment. The Ascended Masters are beings who have gone beyond any attachment to the physical plane, to the emotions, to the mind. They are beyond that. And therefore, I would say that their consciousness is not subjected to the laws of entropy any longer. They are beyond all conflict. The positive ET races have not gone to that point yet. They are close, but not there yet.
Okay.
They have completely harmonized their intent with the will of the One, I would say. They are pure love and light, but they still have their physical bodies, they still have their emotions, they still have their minds, and they still incarnate on the physical plane. They don't perceive it as illusion. They are still, to a certain extent, subjected to the laws of gravity, I would say.
Thank you so much for that explanation. That really clarifies it for me. So now I've also noticed that there's a lot of conversation as of late about the fourth dimensional level and not really the fifth. And I was wondering what you thought about that, because I've read that, we're in the lower realms of the fourth dimension, supposedly. Do you agree?
The fourth dimension is what you would term the astral plane. It is a consciousness which has gone beyond the limits of the physical world. It is a consciousness which is aware that there is more to this than just the physical object. It is aware of the energies, but it's still subject to illusion, because astral plane, as I have said before, is plane of illusion. It is plane of our hopes, aspirations, fears, various emotional states. And the fourth dimension is the level of consciousness where we are still to a great extent subject to those states.
Okay. So, let me ask you, do you believe that we are at the 51% awakened state as a planetary group? No,
of course not. When the critical mass for population is much, much less than 51%. And when the critical mass happens, there will be a breakthrough on the planet.
Because that's actually been flying around the internet as of late.
Oh yes, so you see there are many ideas flying over the internet, and many of them are not aligned to the truth.
Okay. Now, what is your feeling about the fact that there have been rumors that each and every one of us have ultimately been chipped over the course of our, all of our lifetimes? Do you agree with that?
Can you explain a little bit more?
Where we've been microchipped by the dark.
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree that we all are still carrying those chips?
Okay. The microchipping program was active since the World War II, and it was carried out through a vaccination program created by the World Health Organization. And those microchips have been removed completely a few years ago, so they're gone.
Awesome. Wow. Oh my gosh.
And this is one of the reasons why people are starting to awaken again, because those microchips were really strong in the last, let's say, 15 years. And after they are gone, it's suddenly now we have an explosion of awareness happening in the last years or so. This is one of the reasons.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, I had also read that one of the other reasons that we've even gotten to this predicament in the first place is because many, many moons ago, many planets actually sent their laggard frequency type beings to this planet. Do you agree with that?
It happened a long time ago. Not a few months ago, I would say.
Yes.
A time frame, I would say 10 to 15 years ago. All those souls which were really the most undeveloped, the most mutated beings, many of them came to this planet. With the last, I would say, Archon invasion in the time frame between, I would say, 1996 and 2003.
Wow, that recent.
Oh yes, this was the last invasion that happened.
Wow. Okay, because, and so part of the reason that these positive galactic forces are coming forth, is it karmic?
I would say that beings of light would like to help, and I would like to heal this last cancer cell, as I would describe it.
Okay.
They just want the whole galactic organism to be healthy. It's a natural healing process which occurs throughout the galaxy.
That is really, I'm floored that it was that recent. Man. So, what is your feeling about, one of the news reports out was that the Earth was swinging into the orbit of Uranus.
Oh no, of course not.
I know, and I'm like, what? So,
as I said before, you can read all kinds of nonsense over the internet, and people that have a little bit of rational mind, a little bit of intuition can have quite a good feeling what is real and what is not.
Now, are you familiar with Hasim Naraheim? I don't know how to say his last name.
Yes.
He's just fascinating to listen to. He is actually mentioning that the Earth will be taking the position of Venus. Do you agree with that? And then Mars will take the position of Earth?
I wouldn't agree with that. You see, the planets will just stay in their own orbits. They will not change orbits or anything of that nature. The solar system on the outside would look quite much the same. I would say there will be some changes, but those changes will be more on a subatomic scale. There will be some changes in the structure of subatomic particles, but the general orbits of the planets will be just kept the same.
Okay, because you know what I'm talking about. He actually talks about the orbiting going in a horizontal fashion. We always see it like from this very flat plane, when you're taught in school.
Yes.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Okay, I would just say that the orbits will stay the same.
Now, what is your perception of the meaning behind the 144,000 elect?
Okay, this is the critical mass. There is a certain equation which determines the critical mass inside the human population this moment to be around, I would say, 119,000. But because the human race is not 100% effective in their consciousness, the real critical mass, not just symbolic one, is 144,000. And this symbolic number is was known in the mystery schools the last 2,500 years.
Interesting. Now, do you feel that those 144,000 will essentially step up to an ascended master position. The ascended masters will then step up into another different mission themselves?
Okay, I'm not allowed to comment on this one because it's part of the Ascension plan.
Got it. Okay, sorry. Now, what about cloning? Did you or did you not already talk about in another interview? I haven't been able to keep track of everything.
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
I can explain about this. Actually, there was a lot of cloning present. The cabal had this technology, but this technology has been cleared by the resistance movement. So the cabal cannot clone anybody in the last 5 years or so. Oh. So there are no clones of anybody present any longer.
So all clones are eradicated?
Yes.
Because I know that was causing problems. I had met several white knights myself personally, and they said that was just causing... This is back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was causing a great deal of havoc. So.
Oh yes, it was quite... that was a problem at a certain point, but this has been cleared completely.
Okay. And in another prior interview of yours, you were mentioning that many people on Planet X live underground, and that they've reinvigorated the resistance movement in the last 12 or 13 years? Yes. Actually, the resistance movement was quite weakened by the constant attacks from the cabal and the time period around 96 to 99, in that time frame. And then the reinforcements came from Planet X, and now they are very strong. Very strong. Are you allowed to talk about what happened from 96 to 99? You've made reference to it several times now. Oh yes, there was a very strong war taking place underground, in the underground tunnels. And about, I would say, the cabal was much stronger then. They had many beings infiltrated from other star systems, and they had about 10 to 20 million of their representatives in their underground bases. And all this has been cleared in those underground battles. Okay. And so do you feel at this point in time that our situation with the underground bases is completely done? We don't even have to worry about that? I would say yes, but there are some rare instances. For example, the cabal still has under control some uppermost levels of some of the military bases. And they have no personnel there. There are no reptilians there, anything of that nature. It's just a normal military base and nothing exotic, nothing very strange. No advanced weapons, nothing of that nature. You know, that's so interesting, Cobra. Back in the early 90s, I was working alongside the military, and I remember so specifically they closed down a whole bunch of bases, but then when you would drive by, you would still see that they were operating. They didn't close them. They just they went undercover. The bases themselves still existed, and they were actually expanded. And actually, the more sinister ET forces were taking over those bases in the early 90s. That's what I thought. Thank you for that confirmation. So now you also said that the Zionist faction is subordinate to the Jesuit faction. Can you expound upon that a little bit? Okay, this is quite complex, and I will explain. It's like symbiosis between the Rothschilds and the Jesuits. They both need each other, and they both control each other. In some aspects, the Jesuits are superior. In many aspects, the Jesuits are superior to the Rothschilds, but they also need them. So it's a kind of dynamic equilibrium taking place between them. The Jesuits are very good in psychology, and they are very good in controlling people. And the Rothschilds are very good in creating money and using money as a control mechanism. So if they want to control the planet, they need each other. But they also hate each other, so they have to find a way to... They always cooperate in a way which is quite destructive. Well, and it appears that the Vatican is under fire from all different angles. Is there anything new to add regarding what's going on with the Vatican? Okay, I would say that what has been made public is less than 1% of what really was happening in the Vatican. Wow. So a lot is going on. When the real news comes out, people will be shocked. That's all I can say. That's fantastic. Do you agree that the Pope was moved off off of the Vatican property?
I would not say so.
Okay, because that's been flying around through various news channels. And apparently there was somebody that was arrested, and that was a big to-do. But anyway, getting back on track here.
Okay.
Is there any new news today as far as what's going on with kind of the lapse of time from when we were all getting geared up to think that there might be either mass arrests or a massive kind of eradication of these dark cabal members?
Okay, I would say this will happen. This is the plan, it will happen, but I did not receive any confirmation for the green light yet. So I cannot give you any guarantee that anything will happen tomorrow. This is up to Drake and his contacts. You see, I don't have, my contacts are not so strong in the positive military group, they are more in other places.
Okay.
Like the occult economy and alphabet agencies, but I don't have direct connection with those people inside the positive military. And the connections I have did not give any confirmation of the green light.
Yeah, and apparently that caused a lot of havoc. But you know what?
I would say when the real green light is issued, in the 24-hour time frame after that, everybody will have no more doubt, because when this really happens, it will be everywhere.
And this isn't something that's going to be widely known to people like you, or even, I mean, is it true that you're really ultimately waiting for kind of a signal from Source itself?
Actually, the ideal plan would be like there would be a signal from the Source coming through the Pleiadians, coming to the resistance movement, and then through the resistance movement operatives on the surface that would contact people inside a positive military, and then the green light would be issued. But here on the surface of the planet, we have people with free will that are not perfect. And this is the ideal picture. How it will really happen, I don't know. Because we have learned lately that dealing with human population is not so easy. Even the positive military, they have people, they have their own issues, they have their own conflicts, so it's not easy to guide all those people.
I bet.
The only thing I know that one of the resistance movement operatives that is inside the positive military gives intel to some people who contact Drake. That's the only thing I know about this. And the information I've got that the positive military is not a unified group.
That makes sense.
There are some factions, there are people who would like to do this, some people who would like to do that, and it's not completely harmonized.
Yes, and a lot of egos involved, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, yes.
Unfortunately.
Like everywhere. So this is one of the reasons for so many delays on this planet. And actually the resistance movement had some problems with the White Dragon Society in the beginning of this year. There were some negotiations, and soon it was found out that some people inside the White Dragon Society would just like to grab now the money for themselves. I'm not speaking about this group as a whole, but there were certain individuals inside of that group with that motivation.
So, I mean, aren't we really at a point, though, where we've made such strides? I mean, we've accomplished so much in eliminating so much of the darkness on the planet. There's really very little they can get away with without the light being aware of their...
That's true.
You know, of their shenanigans, so to speak. So... Well, and the other...
This is exactly the reason why it's so important to give the information out. Some people are wondering why I'm disclosing classified information. It is because people need to know. Now is the time that we all need to make choices. And I give exact instructions what to say and what not to say. And I'm allowed to say much more than I was allowed to say even a few years ago.
Oh, yes. Yes, I definitely noticed that. I mean, I was blown away when I even heard your interview. I was just actually very excited because first of all, it feels closer. You know, secondly, just using your intuition, you know that there are things going on that have not gone down in the, couple years even ago.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, some monstrous, amazing things. I mean, you would never even see the media report on some of the things that they're now reporting on.
This is thanks also to the Occupy movement. Occupy movement has done a very good job of awakening the average population of what's going on inside the banking system. So this is a good basis for what we're doing now. And it all builds up to a certain point where the breakthrough will happen.
Goes to show you when we all align for a common cause, we are the power on this planet.
Yes.
You know? So now you also mentioned that there would be selected individuals contacted by the Pleiadians at the time of mass landings?
They will be contacted before the mass landing. After the event, the Pleiadians will start a program of contacting certain individuals in certain groups, and then those groups will go to the mass media, some of them, and will present evidence to the mass media. And this will prepare humanity for the reality of extraterrestrial life, because people will have physical proof. And then more and more of those ships will become visible up to the point where humanity is ready for the mass landings. And before the mass landings happen, there will be an official diplomatic contact between the representatives of the Pleiadian race and the representatives of the human race. This must happen before the mass landings. And then human beings will be able to vote, do you want this to happen or not?
That's what I was...
free will decision about it.
That's what I was going to ask you, because you had also said that if humanity accepted these mass landings, that kind of made me nervous, you know, for those that are out there that are completely unaware.
At that point, they will be aware because mass media will be speaking about it. When the mass media are freed from the control of Rothschild, they will report things that really are happening. Okay. They will report about those ETs. They will report evidence. They will spread free energy devices will be reported on TV. People will be able to buy one.
Well, now, these selected individuals, are these people that are already in kind of high places that can get the job done and get it moving?
Necessary. People who are qualified, and I will not go in details who is qualified, because it's still classified, but after the event, I will be able to give more information and some guidance about it.
Okay. And now, the question about the Ascension process, you had mentioned, and of course it's been stated, that it's obviously a process. And everybody's process is different. We all process the stripping away of the emotional, mental bodies differently. What do you perceive as, like, is there a drop-dead timeline, to a special window of opportunity to finish that Ascension process?
I will not comment on this.
Either? Okay.
No.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. But you see, I will explain, there are archons on the actual plane, and they will be happy to share this information and start blocking everybody even more to develop rituals. So I will not give them this information. Okay,
makes sense. And you had also said that it takes the cabal about $1 billion a day just to run things.
Even more.
Okay. Are we aware of how they're being impacted financially with all these lawsuits? With, God, I read the other day that money just kind of disappeared out of a lot of their coffers electronically. Can you comment on that?
Oh, yeah, there was a very successful operation, I think last week, in the beginning of last week. It was a test run to see how the resistance movement can break into the system and play a little bit with their finances. And it was a very successful operation. Nobody could track where the cyber attack came from. They had no idea. They're confused. The cabal is confused. They had no idea where the money went. And it was actually stolen from the accounts of the rich people who are part of the cabal and from the banks.
Wow, that's awesome. Cobra, that's awesome. Wow.
Yes, and this is just a training exercise. When the real reset happens, this will be much, much, much more widespread and will actually take down the system.
Fantastic.
Because when the arrests happen, the cabal must be cut off from all of their money.
Yes. So now you also mentioned that one of their biggest concerns was the Stockholm Syndrome. of most of the plant.
Yes.
I mean, are there ways in which to get beyond that? I mean, are we pretty much, we're pretty much stuck with what we have, and it's until the time that the mass landings occur that there would be accessibility to the healing chambers?
Oh, yes, there are ways to get beyond that, and the critical time is before the arrest happened and not the time of the mass landings. Because when we get back the mass media, human beings will begin to cooperate. They will be deprogrammed. The brainwashing will be removed very quickly and very effectively. Because when every human being is being presented the real facts, they will quite quickly realize what's going on. When they will get the evidence, the proof, not just the words, the proof, the physical proof, when they will see the top leaders of the cabal arrested and presented the evidence of their deeds, their actions, when they will see working free energy devices, when they will see artifacts from Atlantis, things of that nature, human beings will begin to believe.
Yeah, they won't be able to dispute it.
Exactly.
But I do see it's unfortunate because I've seen a lot of the divide and conquer that the dark have been orchestrating amongst the spiritual community, and I just really hope that we can step back and maintain neutrality and look at this from an observer standpoint. That's so key.
Oh yeah, this is very vital at this point, not to get involved in the drama that is being artificially enhanced by the cabal.
Right. And once we do that, man, we're right in their camp again,
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I think what I wanted to end with was just any updates or anything that you would like to talk about as far as like the future we have to see and look forward to, anything along those lines.
Okay, I would just like to say don't get so caught up in when this is going to happen. Because when you get actively involved in making it happen, you have no more time to think about this. You are so in the action that it's happening every day to you. You become part of this. I think this is my main message for everybody today.
And just so I can share what came through to me right before I got on the call with you, Cobra, this was what they told me. They said, although you've been accustomed to the dark, running, the programs on the planet, it is good to use discernment. However, all we prompt you to think about is the suspicion. What is it accomplishing? Is it supporting the positive movement forward for the light to be victorious? Just listen with neutrality mindedness. No one can... So, go ahead.
Okay, suspicion is an emotional reaction. It is not actual discernment of the mind. When mind gathers information, when mind processes information, it has to go beyond the emotional reaction of suspicion or attraction towards certain information. You just get presented with the facts, and in the clarity of those facts, you simply begin to know the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And you have no need for doubt or suspicion because they are just reactions. You simply see the reality as it is.
Exactly. Well, I can't thank you enough for being a beacon of positivity and light, and I look forward to future interviews with you, and I really hope that this cleared up some questions that a lot of, my fellow spiritual light worker friends and I have discussed many a time. So I hope you all enjoyed this interview today, and everyone have a wonderful, prosperous, happy, and peaceful day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.